Hello there, this is Pyritebomblol, and this is the fourth episode in my tutorial series. This one's going to be looking at the what each of the items and the stats do on items. So hopefully you'll be able to get a small idea on what to build in game, and as you look on builds on the internet, on different websites like sellmid.net, you can start to understand them more and see why they're good for your champion. So I'm just going to sit in the shop. I'll basically go down this list on the side, and I'll say which is which, what does what, and yeah, that should be fine. So, consumable items, obviously, hence the name, these will be consumable items. These are like potions, you have wards here as well. You do also have elixirs, which give you a 5-minute buff, which give you a certain amount of stats, which I'll also tell you soon. And you get sightstone and arcus, like I said. That should be picked up once you get into game. I'm not going to explain them too much. So the first stat heading we come under is defense. So health, that's pretty obvious. You get a certain amount of health for your champion, etc. 180 for the ruby crystal. That's pretty standard in every game. Armor. Okay, so armor. Once you get some more armor, the auto attacks, which is when you right click on a champion, they will do less damage to your team. Some champions have 80 spells, like Jace. I don't know why that took so long to think of. Like Jace's deck, that's 80 spell. This will give you a certain amount of armor. The more armor you have, the less effective it is. So you get so far, and then it starts to do less and less. So I'd perhaps suggest getting a little bit if you want armor, and if you do just get a small amount, it will do a lot more than stacking it fully. Magic resist is very similar to armor, but that's just for AP spells. That you won't get any auto attacks, which is right clicking, as AP damage, so that will all be spells, and you'd expect that to come from the mid champion. So picking up some AP if the mid champions get too strong, that could be really good. So we come on to health regeneration. That's exactly as it sounds. Over time you regenerate health, and let's see, the rejuvenation bead, you get 5 health per 5 seconds. So that's pretty standard, that's just 1 health a second. That can help a little bit. You get better items, obviously, as you get more expensive, such as 1.5% every 5 seconds. So it's definitely worth looking into if that's part of your build. It works well with some champions. Okay, we got Tenacity. This is a very unique type of stats. You don't see it picked up so much, but Mercury Chads are probably the biggest thing you'll see Tenacity on. Basically, Tenacity is how long you're stuck in CC, which is stuns, slows, etc. So you can see here, Tenacity reduces the duration of stuns, slows, taunts, fears, silences, blinds, and immobilizes by 35%. I think each one does different. No, that's 35%. Nope, so each of these items give exactly the same amount of tenacity, and that can be really helpful if you're getting stuck in CCs like stuns for too long. That's also a tanky stat. You don't see it too often on anyone else other than a tank, but it's possible on bruisers. But once again, just refer to the guide. Okay, so attack damage. Attack damage is going to change the amount of damage you do when you right click with an auto attack. This, as I said before, there's a couple of AD champions, but other than AD champions, this is all it's going to affect. Something like Adoran Sword, 80 health, 10 attack damage. So that's what you're looking at, the 10 attack damage. That means every right click you do, it'll hit for 10 damage more. So that's pretty good to have. Critical strike. A critical hit is something, I think it does double damage to a normal AD attack. This has to be, I think there's only 1 or 2 spells in the game that you actually can critical hit with, but in terms of this, you can critical hit with right clicks. So a good crit damage item is Infinity Edge, so that would give you 25% critical strike, and with this item you do get increased damage, so you get 250% damage instead of 200%, but you get the idea. Critical hits hits for more, and you get a certain amount of damage on the item. You get a certain amount of chance. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, we'll try and get on. attack speed. This is how fast you attack per second with your auto attacks. Right click. So recurve bow, 30% attack speed, you'll attack 30% faster. So if you attack 1 attack per second, you get this, and it'll be 1.3 attacks per second, I think. Should be right. Lifesteal. This is the amount of health you get back per each auto attack you do. Basically, along the attack tree, this is all right click. This is all your auto attacks. So the subtitles are pretty handy. So we'll have a look at Vampiric Scepter. 10% lifesteal. So if you do 100 damage, you'll heal 10 health back, and etc. Just like that. So it's really good for sustaining, and well, it's good for staying in lane, especially for bot lane or maybe bruiser even. So we'll go on to magic. These are ability power. As I said before, the two types of damage in the game are either attack damage or AP, ability power. So ability power is more for spells, more for spell type champions and mages. This gives you etc. 15 ability power. Now these scale differently depending on the spell you have. Some spells like scale 1 AP to 1 damage, so that would mean it gives you 15 extra damage. But maybe then you have a spell which is 0.7, so it'll give you a lot less. Usually when you're on an AP champion, you want to be building a lot of AP, but refer to the guide, they'll probably tell you right anyway, and see what you want to buy. And hopefully that will send you the right way, because some champions, even though they are AP, it's not that great to build it on them. Cooldown Reduction. This is pretty widely used now, and cooldown reduction is how quickly your spells come back off cooldown. So if you don't know what cooldown is, it's when you use one, you can't use it for a certain amount of time afterwards. That's cooldown. So I think the maximum amount of cooldown reduction you can get is 40%. Don't quote me on that because I think it might be a bit out, but you can get that much, and so that means your spell will come up 40% faster, which can be really nice on some champions. Spell Vamp. This is similar to the lifesteal on attack damage. Basically, when you cast a spell, you get a percentage of the health back. So the Hextech Revolver is 12% Spell Vamp. So sometimes you want to build that, depending on the champion. You don't see it so much, but there are a few champions which is really good on. Mana's very similar to health, obviously. Mana's just a stat, you can buy more mana. And all of these are just pretty basic, you get extra mana. So this will be 560, that's pretty self-explanatory. So is mana regeneration. That will just regenerate your mana over time, so that's pretty self-explanatory as well. One of the last ones, boots. This will make your movement faster. You can only buy one pair of boots, it's unique, so don't make the mistake of buying two. I know you should have to buy two because you've got 2 feet, but don't worry about that. You can then upgrade your first boots into a second tier of boots. These give you different stats, and they will make your speed faster than the first one. But basically, you get a base speed at the beginning, you buy boots, and then you move faster. That's pretty self-explanatory too. And then you've got other movement items which just give you a base, well, an extra amount of movement speed. So in this case, 6%. That could be helpful, and it's pretty basic, so I don't think I need to go into that too much. So as I said before, make sure you look on solomid.net, make sure you find the guides. They will tell you exactly the way you need to go. I would find the pro guides. It's the ones in red, I think, with red title. They're the ones that are going to give you the exact things you need to buy, so I'd follow them and you should be okay. Hopefully this guide has showed you what each thing does, and hopefully you don't have too many more questions. So this video's gone on for quite long, so hopefully it's okay with you. If you like this, please like, favorite, subscribe, etc. Come and watch me on stream, and I think that's about it. So thanks for watching.